Intercontinental Championship, the new champion, Biggie Langston, faces off against the old champion, Curtis Axel. We have a new best in the world, according to Peyton, and that's Biggie Langston. So fuck your team for the fantasy league.
Yeah.
We've talked about Biggie Langston on the Raw post show and how everybody who had a chance to voice their opinions that night, we were all very positive about it. But what do you guys think about Biggie in general? The ones who haven't been able to express that opinion yet. Are you guys a fan of him as a champion, or do you think that this is just kind of why are they giving him the title? He's only been there for a year, or I don't know, whatever your opinions might be. Drew, what do you think?
Makes more sense that he has the Intercontinental title than Damien Sandow had the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'll say that much. But I'm a big fan of Biggie Langston. I don't know why, but I am. I think he's of a perfect build. Some say he's terrible on the mic, but I don't think he's too bad on the mic. I actually like his mic skills. In ring, he looks like a monster, and that's what he needs to look like. And he looks like he has the biggest boobs in the industry, and that could take him a long way. So,
And he gets topless.
and he goes Kurt Angle on them, as some might say. So I'm for Biggie Langston being Intercontinental Champion. I just want to see what they do with him going forward. Hopefully, with every Intercontinental Champion they have as of recent, everyone always pegs that guy as the guy who's going to reestablish that Intercontinental title as it was a long time ago, and it never happened. So I think the question is, can Biggie Langston do something like that to the title? Which, I don't think he will, but I think it will be better than some people who've had the title as of late. And maybe this could be a big stepping stone for him becoming a bigger part of the company.
Miguel, what do you think about this? Are you pro Biggie?
Yeah, I've been pro Biggie. I think the guy's got a lot of potential. I think this babyface run is going to be what really gets him over with the fans. If you've read anything on like his Twitter, the guy's got a really funny sense of humor, and he's super over in NXT, or was, as a babyface. I still would like to see them bring up his 5 count gimmick, because I think that'll be something that the fans could really get behind. I'm hoping that this leads to something. Like I said before, I think in the Lost segment, Big E is friends with John Cena, so that's definitely going to give him a lot of push going forward. Honestly, within a year, maybe 2 years, I could see him as the World Heavyweight Champion, and I could see him as like a big focal point for SmackDown, which I think really needs a guy like that. Is he a Raw guy or a SmackDown guy?
I don't think they even have
there are
distinctions
grades.
anymore.
Oh, well, in that case, I do see him as the next big World Heavyweight Champion. I'm even going to say this right now. I think later down the line, I think we could see him being a WWE Champion, maybe the first black WWE Champion, which, I would
Paul's gonna get excited.
No,
Honestly,
I
I would've-
agree. I think that's definitely a possibility.
I would have pegged Mark Henry as the first WWE Champion, but they didn't pull the trigger on that. But Big E, I could definitely see him getting that WWE title and really holding on to that title as the first black WWE champion. As for this matchup right now, he's gonna go over. There's no reason to put the title back on Curtis Axel. He's done. He needs to take a little bit of a breather. Maybe bring him back, somewhere down the line. Maybe post WrestleMania, or even. No, I'd say post WrestleMania is probably the best time frame to do something with him. But right now, it's Big E's time.
You need to bring back the genesis of McGillicuddy.
Maybe they can bring back Ted DiBiase Jr. and put them in a tag team like they were going to.
Sean, are you big on Big E?
I'm a pro Big E guy, yeah. I think he's more entertaining than Curtis Axel. And I agree with Miguel. I think Big E's going to be the next. I say probably Royal Rumble. I think he's one of my picks to win the Royal Rumble, Big E Langston.
Really?
For,
this one coming up?
This one coming up, yeah, for the World Heavyweight Championship.
You think he's going to end up facing John Cena?
Not John Cena. I think John Cena's dropping the belt.
Ah.
Back to Del Rio, sadly.
Oh, God, they better not fucking do that. If they do that, I'm done. I can't take it. I can't take another fucking Del Rio title reign. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but Stephen and Mike, we had gone over Big E's title win, and we were kind of discussing whether or not he was going to get a match at Survivor Series because they hadn't announced it after the post show. But now that we know, what are your thoughts on it, Stephen?
Why the fuck is he not winning the title at Survivor Series? It makes no sense why they put this on like his title win on Raw and not at Survivor Series. I mean, it's obvious who's going to fucking win at Survivor Series. It's going to be Big E. There's definitely no doubt. It'd be stupid to put it back on Curtis. I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't say be surprised if we see Curtis Axel being sent back to NXT. I think he's done. So it's going to be a 5-minute squash match.
You know what? I'm going to actually take back my choice then, because now the fact that Wago brought that up, that the fact that they gave him the belt the almost a week before it, and now they're making this matchup, I'm actually going to change my stance. I think Curtis Axel's going to win, and I think the reason they did that is because of the shock value. Like, let's put the belt on Big E, and then at the pay-per-view, let's give it back to Curtis, because nobody's going to expect that.
No.
All right, I keep it as Big E.
Peyton, what's Team Peyton have to say about this?
Oh my goodness. Curtis Axel, I don't think stands a chance. To be honest, I mean, Big E is a huge star right now. I do very much agree with the sentiment that the whole setup was very weird. I mean, it was just a week before that Curtis Axel was defending the title against Dolph Ziggler successfully, I might add. Dolph Ziggler, the guy who just this summer was in a feud with Big E and ended up being the guy who came out on top of that feud. Big E has kind of bouncing back and forth between having a push and then getting a couple of losses and then having a push again and then getting a couple of losses. And then out of nowhere, he just has a title match. Matter of fact, I know a good friend of the show here, Jeff Krupp, actually got very, very upset about how they set this whole thing up. But I'm not as upset about it, but I think it would have made a lot more sense to have had the two of them have some sort of non-title match on Raw or even SmackDown if they didn't want to waste Raw time, and have that be the setup going into Survivor Series for this match, and then have Big E win the title there. You know, Miguel brings an interesting point that that's something they could do just for the sake of shocking people, but I don't think anyone's really going to be like, oh my, Curtis Axel won the Intercontinental title again. Ooh. I don't think anyone's going to be very intrigued if that happens again.
I don't think intrigued. I think they would just be more annoyed by it. Like, that's stupid.
I think a general rule here is that Survivor Series is going to have absolutely no shocks whatsoever. Unless, and this is something I forgot to bring up when we were talking about the Wyatt family, unless a new member of the Wyatt family pops up. And there are rumors that, I think his name's Judas Devlin, somebody in NXT could be a member of the Wyatt family. So maybe that's the way that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan lose. I don't know. But I think if you're going to do any shock value thing, you're only going to do that. I don't think we're going to see Curtis Axel win the title, shock value or not. I don't think, and I'm kind of skipping ahead here, I don't think Del Rio's winning out of a shock value. I don't think Big Show's winning. I don't think that we're going to see Triple H turn babyface or Vince McMahon show up. I don't think anything is going to happen.
I want to put one thing out there. Could you see Paul Heyman dropping Curtis Axel like he did Ryback?
I think he did.
He already did.
You already know. Curtis Axel left him, actually. Curtis Axel went up to Ryback. He's like, so you're not a Paul Heyman guy? Well, me neither.
Oh, really?
That.
All the cool people aren't Paul Heyman guys anymore. I think it was on a WWE.com segment.
Oh, that's why I didn't watch it.
That was on a SmackDown segment.
People watch those?
SmackDown. One of those.
People watch SmackDown?
One of those things that aren't Raw. That's where it was.
One of those things that don't matter. So I don't think that we're going to see any kind of big surprises here in this pay-per-view at all. And I think that translates to this match too. I think Big E is essentially going to win a squash match, actually. I don't even think Curtis Axel is going to get that much offense. I think this is here as a buffer, and it's just to make Big E look strong. And they're not sure exactly where they want to go for his next challenger, especially because we have a lot of people that are tied into other matches. I mean, we've got 5 people in the elimination match. We've got the 2 Wyatt family members in the tag match, multiple title matches and all that. So there's not a clear-cut person to feud him with right now.
Actually, I think The Miz is going to be this guy to feud with.
It might be, and I think it's a little too much of a jump to go Big E wins the title and The Miz turns heel on the same episode of Raw, and then, 5-6 days later, the two of them are in a match and Miz has got a title shot and whatever. Like, that would be too much of a jump.
Well, I could see Miz actually taking the title from him and they trade hands a few times.
It might happen. Yeah. I mean that is something I think we might see start at TLC.
Visually, conceptually, this might be an ugly pairing, but visually, if they're going for really attraction-looking things, like they mentioned with the SummerSlam thing, if you're looking for two big guys to go in there and really duke it out, I wouldn't mind seeing a Big E Ryback feud.
It might happen too.
Yeah,
Ryback's
I
going
think
to have something to do.
Yeah, and you know what? Those are two guys that you put those guys in the ring, people are going to notice. You put a guy like Curtis Axel or The Miz in the ring with Big E, they're going to notice Big E. But I'm kind of thinking it. I'm trying to go into Vince McMahon's head. I think a
It'll be
Ryback.
who has the stupidest singlet feud.
Well, it's clearly Big E because he doesn't have knee pads. I still say he needs knee pads, just to even his look out. Nothing. Okay.
Yeah, so quick around the horn, final guesses. Drew, who's winning?
The Big E. And I fucking hate his new entrance music. I forgot to mention that.
It's not even that different. It's not even that different. Yeah.
It just has a lot more pronounced in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of like how when the first 5 weeks of Curtis Axel, it was just a different kind of theme every time. I like the original one, and now they're changing things up on me. I don't like it. I don't like change.
I'd say just give them Ezekiel Jackson's theme.
Yeah, just do that. I think that'll. No.
They're gonna change Big E's name. He's just gonna go through the alphabet. He's gonna be Big G next.
At least he's not going to be Big D. That'd be awkward.
Big D.
Do you think they'll change his name? Because I don't see Big E WWE champion. Sounds fucking retarded.
I don't know. We've had some weird champions though. So
Big E Langston has a very 70s vibe to it. Like that's a very 70s name. Like I could see like an old territory champion, like an NWA champion, Big E Langston.
We've also had Big Show. It's not that much different.
This is true.
So, Steven, Big E or Curtis?
Big E. Squash match, 5 minutes.
Sean, Langston or Axel?
I agree. 5-minute squash match for Big E.
Miguel?
Big E.
Peyton?
Big E. I wouldn't say it's going to be a squash match. I think Curtis Axel will get a little bit in there, maybe more like a 10-minute match. It won't be long, but Big E, definitely.
All right, we're going to move along here. World Heavyweight Championship, John Cena and Alberto Del Rio.